is 6 o'clock. Welcome to the Toltec School Board meeting, Toltec School District number 22. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I believe we'll have Mr. Courtwright. Will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was going to say, you other guys probably don't know the treasure hunter's pledge, but we've got it right up there. So Narda, could you go ahead and lead us in this?
Absolutely. As an adult and a treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all talents, skills, and intelligence that exist in all children and youth.
I believe all children are capable of success,
No exceptions.
All right, a moment of silence, please. And there, Mr. growls during the moment of silence. Okay, everybody have a seat, and Mrs. Rogers, if you could take a roll call for me, please.
Mark Lindgren,
Here.
Timothy Cason,
Here.
Steve Cartwright,
Here.
Bill Dorsey,
Here.
James Gray,
Here.
all present.
Excellent, thank you. And now we move on to opening meeting here. It is the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any items that they disagree with or wish to be removed or changed in any way, shape, or form? If not, I'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll motion to approve. Is it the consent agenda?
It's,
No,
it's the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Presented. Excellent. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Gray has seconded. So two cases, Mr. Gray seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against? Yes. Now we're going on to the consent agenda. And will we need, does anybody have any information or something need to change in the consent agenda? If not, I ask that there be a motion to approve the action item consent.
I move to approve.
Oh, okay, Mr. Courtwright did a motion, and you wish to second it? Yeah, Mr. Dow- Okay, excellent. So, Mr. Dougherty seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 All against? That moves us on to the information discussion items, number 3, and it's the A, superintendent summary.
As you walked in, you would have noticed a beautiful sign that identifies this building as the district office and also the address. Now, we will be working on changing the address. This is Poncho Road. The address had stayed the same from when the district office years ago. It used to be across the street for Toltec Road. So that will take some work.
Yes, it will.
Civil Rights Day is Monday, so all offices and departments will be closed for the day. We are trying to take up a nasty old carpet at Toltec Elementary School. It was put in when the buildings were built, but we have to have testing for asbestos. When I was speaking with the maintenance supervisor today, he said that and consult with the authority on the subject. That they were, they're going to do some testing, and then we probably won't be able to remove the carpets ourselves. Just wouldn't be probably the best route to go. There would be a lot of things involved And so we have to first have everything tested for where asbestos is, then we have to get a quote. So I'm just crossing my fingers and toes and hoping that we can afford to remove this nasty old carpet. We start with TES because it's our oldest school, and then we would move to Arizona City Elementary School, and then eventually here to the district office to get rid of carpet, so that, carpet maintains all the germs, and it also, in our schools and everything, it decreases the quality of the air. So I think it's very important to get the nasty old carpet gone. Mrs. Ferguson has been working on arranging appointments at Sun Life Family Medical Center in Eloy for all staff to accommodate receiving their COVID-19 vaccination. And I think she has 34 at this time. So I know that some staff members were having difficulty wanting to be immunized, wanted to receive the vaccination, and we're having difficulty finding a place to get an appointment. So we're accommodating them that way. The vaccine is not a requirement, but we are accommodating all of our staff. And that's all I have.
All right. Now, next one, information B, business manager. You're up, sir.
All right.
Mr. Tim.
So before you is the budget report for up to the end of January. I'm sorry, up to the end of December, because we're in January now. And you can see that we have $280,698.41 available as our total budget balance. For those of you that are new, we have a large number of funds that we work with in the district, but the main one where most of our operations come out of is the maintenance and operation fund. That's where most of the funds come in, most of the funds go out. All the other funds have specific purposes that we have to use them for. This is the main one that you'll be seeing in our budget reports month by month. Below there are graphs that show you the first one showing the prior year to date to the current year to date, what we've spent. So you can see the green bars are what we were last year and the pink bars where we are this year. One of the things that you will notice, most of them are lower with the exception of other purchase services. And the reason why that one is higher is because we have had a couple positions, specifically the ED room, where we hired an outside company to bring in a teacher for that room. And we also did our psychologists now from a services perspective instead of having an employee on hand. So those two changed from last year to this year. You can also see it projected where we projected it to be and where we currently are. You will notice a big change in the salaries also, where we projected to be higher, but we are lower. And the main reason for that is that the Enrollment Stability Grant allowed us to take salaries and move them over into a grant instead of using that of the maintenance and operations. That was $426,000 that we were able to transfer over to the Enrollment Stability Grant that came out of our salaries, so we weren't spending that out of the maintenance and operations. That's the bulk of the budget report. If you guys have questions, I'm certainly open to taking any questions and answer anything that you might want. Being new, you might not have any yet, but if you do, certainly.
I do, Jim. The papers that went around that we signed, are these numbers exclusive of that?
Those were probably not included in this because this is as of the end of December, and those should have been January expenditures. So, however, that being said, those monies that you would have signed for would have been accounted for in the encumbered amount. So they've already been set aside for those expenses. So you won't see, does that make sense?
Yep.
So we have an expended amount, we have an encumbered amount, which is already set aside for those expenses, and then the total, and that gets you to where we're at with $280,000.
Thank you.
We should see that budget balance actually increase because we have a lot of expenses that we are not spending on right now. We use very few substitute teachers, so that the monies that we set aside for substitute teachers, as we continue through the year, we won't have to use those. We're not using nearly as much fuel as what we did last year because we're not running the buses as much. And there's other areas too where we'll see some savings over what we've already set aside for those expenditures. So that budget balance will change some as we finish up the year. We are still expecting a budget surplus, so we should have a carryover for next year. And you go ahead.
I wanted to say that another way that we saved the salaries was not filling positions, early on to start school until we, for instance, especially teaching positions, yes, but hourly employees, paraprofessionals, those types of things, we let positions open since students weren't in the classrooms.
And we also had a situation, which you'll see here in just a little bit, where we did have a couple of employees that didn't, that left for one reason or another. We didn't fill those. Oh, was it in the consent agenda? Apologize. So moving on to the second page, which is the grants report. We do have the Toltec Elementary School doors project is the bid packet is being finalized and reviewed, and along with the building C and D roof, which is being finalized and reviewed. I am sending those bid packets out to another business manager who's done these bid packets before, so he can look over them and make sure that we're in good shape for those. The Arizona City School weatherization project, we are waiting for SFB approval to go forward on that. And then moving down to the government grants and the other grants below, the one that I wanted to highlight is that we just received word I believe it was last week, that there is going to be a second round of the elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund. We are being told that is going to be approximately 4 times what the original amount was. The original amount was $282,000, and so we should be receiving a large number of funds there. But we don't have a date, and we have no idea when that monies will be coming to us or when we'll have that available to us.
It could be as late as January 2022.
Yes, it could be as late as January 2022, so it could be some time before we see those monies. But any expenditures, from what we've been told, any expenditures going all the way back to March of 2020 can be put toward that grant, so we can move funds to that grant if necessary. Even if we don't get the money till January of 2022, we can move monies over to it all the way from March of 2020. And then the enrollment stability grant, I mentioned this once already. We received our allocation the other day. It actually came in the form of a check to the school district for approximately $426,000, and we used that for salaries to help mitigate the loss of enrollment and the monies that we would see for that. The other couple things that I wanted to mention to you that are not in your report is that we have been having kind of 2 audits going on currently, or actually one is currently, one just finished. We were under fiscal monitoring for our grants from the fiscal year 18-19. That just finished up the other day. Unfortunately, we did find that we had an unallowable expense from 18-19 that we are going to have to pay back to the government, which is a teacher's salary from during that time. So we will have to take care of that coming up in the next few weeks. The second one is that we had our annual audit. We had the field work for our annual audit done the other day. It went very well. I was very impressed, very satisfied with how things went. Originally, they had 14 findings for us, which is actually a really good number. That sounds like it might be big, but it's actually not. It's actually a very good number. And some of those we've already taken care of and satisfied for the auditor, so those will be coming off also. That audit won't finish probably until, I'm going to guess, March, when they'll finally, put the final touches on it and give us the audit report after that. But it did go well. A big shout out to Andrea and Debbie and Gloria for getting all the materials also for that. They did a great job helping us with that audit. And that's, unless you have any questions, that's all I have for you today.
I want to say thank you, Tim, for all you did with our audit. Thank you.
That was a lot of work, and I came in and saw, everything, what you've been doing, and it was very good. I was impressed. now is, we're just moving on forward. Call the public. Do we have anybody?
None.
None, okay, well, let's just, number 5, action items. A, if we can,
Well, the data doesn't look favorably for us with COVID. The State Department came out for the very first time in, I believe it was the end of December, and then again, they updated it the 7th of January, that all all counties within the state of Arizona should be delivering instruction virtually. So when you look at the January 12th COVID report for the district, you can see that in the grouping of the elementary school districts, we have the highest percent positive, and we are still, so we get a fuchsia color and we get a dark red color in the case count. And so if you look at page 3 of the report, you can kind of see the progression. So from the report, and they're about a week or so behind because they take all the data, and the way they describe it is scrubbing the data to get it ready for the district boundaries. And if you look at the number of cases, and I don't really pay that much attention to COVID-like illness, that's statewide, and that was yellow until the latter part of, until the latter part of December. But we have been in red in all 3 for 3 weeks in a row. We have been red in the number of cases and percent positive for 7 reports in a row. We now move to the fuchsia color, and the percent positive moved from 21.02% to 25.99%. From the last of December to the 7th of January. If you look at the last page, this is the scale. This shows for the entire county, and we can see that week 53 is actually the week that's not included in this other data, because they have to, get it out, extract what belongs to each district boundary, and then get that to us, and you can see that the numbers are going up, still going up. So with that being said, we do have a survey that went out to our parents this week, and we have a survey that's going to be going out to our staff on Tuesday, and we'll have a report for the February meeting on what the feedback was that we received. And at this point in time, for the safety of our staff and students, I am asking you to approve a projected date of March 22nd. That would be the Monday following spring break, to begin the hybrid scenario.
all right, does anybody have any questions? Does anybody wish to make a motion on the approved project date, March 22nd, 2021, to begin hybrid scenario?
I move and we approve that.
Very good. Mr. Courtright has made a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second. Mr. Kaysen has now seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. B, board meeting date. It's been the second Wednesday for us during the regular board meetings, but we're looking at different things right now, and I'm just wondering if there are other days that anyone else would think would be good. I'm just doing this because Wednesday brought to my attention that Wednesday is, actually, that's a church day for a lot of people. And that's kind of stepping on their own toes. So I was thinking of the second Monday. If anybody has, thinks that's a good idea, or
I think Mondays are good because you can always try to catch up and do what you're supposed to do the previous month. You got a weekend to do it.
absolutely. And the second Monday seems to work for me. Mr. Reese.
That's fine, any day is fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I could go with Monday.
Okay, and Mr. Courtwright, you good with that?
Yep.
Okay, and then obviously, Mr. Gray?
Fine.
Fine, okay, so it looks like we can have a motion to change the date and time, or just the date, actually, not the actual time. Time would still be 6 o'clock. But have a motion to move it to a second Monday. So do I have a motion?
I'll motion, we move the board meeting to the second Monday of the month.
Very good. Mr. Kaysen has made a motion to move to the second Monday of the month. Anyone else for a second?
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Gray has seconded. We will now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passed. Well, that was easy. Okay. Well, we move on to action item C, election of the governing board president for 2021. And I'm not sure if I have to read off this stuff. I think everybody can understand what it says and what it's about, and that we elect a president at this time. The duties of the president of the board shall be presides over all meetings, conduct meetings in accordance with the Arizona laws and policies of the district. B, consult with the superintendent on behalf of the governing board as a whole, approve items to be placed on the agenda for each meeting. Encourage and maintain orderly and democratic participation. Keep all discussion factual and on the subject at hand. And E, allow for full and complete exploration of each item of business. In other words, I don't butt in when you people are trying to say something. So, anybody want to nominate a president, or?
Well, I think since at least three of us are new, we should allow the experienced people to take on their duty, at least to show us how to do it. So
I agree with that.
limits the nominations down to familiar faces, I guess, and names.
Let's nominate Mark Lindgren.
Okay, we have a motion to nominate Mark Lindgren, and we have a second, Mr. Gray. I guess we'll go ahead and go with this one. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against? Motion passes. Now we move on to action item D, election of governing board clerk. And go ahead and the board clerk would be the person who I'm trying to figure out on my here we go. Here it is. There it is. The duties of the board clerk shall be as follows: taking minutes during executive session, Filing executive session minutes following 2 weeks period of availability for the discretion reviewing and input of other board members. And in the absence of the president of the board clerk shall temporarily assume the board president's role and perform the duties thereof. Anybody here want to pull that roll? Move around. Mr. Courtright, would you like to do that?
Anybody got an extra card? I'll do it.
All right. Well, I make a motion that Mr. Courtright be the clerk. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Downing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Were you afraid? You might be picked? I was
No,
thinking
no,
about it.
I know that those roles can be tedious and, I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you stepping up and going to take it, especially being here new. But I think you've been around schools and stuff enough. I think this will be no different than what you've done when you were in schools.
Okay.
So,
I'll,
and believe me, we'll help in any way, shape, or form. There is, if you feel there's a problem or something that you don't understand, or just ask. All of us and any of us will help you around here. So now we go for the next meeting date, which aligns with action item B.
Monday, February 8th.
Monday, February 8th. Sounds good to me. And everybody else said Mondays were good, so I guess I don't see any reason to ask anybody anymore. So if you wish to adjourn the meeting, closing of the meeting, I will need a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, adjudication has a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Usually people just jump all over that one. Okay, Mr. Courtright seconds it. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes.
Wow.
That's